And the point that Bill Baccarat makes in values-based selling is that what you do with a customer is that you establish, first of all, what their desired outcome is, and then secondly, you establish, if you are able to deliver that outcome, what difference is it going to make to the customer's life. And I'll tell you a story. I change my car every 4 years, and I'm one of those people that's car mad, and so I actually start looking for my car 2 years before I need one. And it just so happens I've had my current car for 2 years, and I'm just about starting to look now. And the last time I went round this process, I went to see, I had a short list of about 4 or 5 vehicles that I was interested in purchasing. And I went along to the Porsche dealer, and the Porsche dealer said, this is all about Porsches, we're the best car in the world. And I went to a few other dealers and they did the same. And then I went to the BMW dealer in Falmouth, where I live. And I walked up to the guy and said, you know, I'm interested in changing my car. And he says, right, he says, before you say another word, let me make you a cup of coffee. So we sat down in the comfy chairs. Do you need to get that? We sat down in the comfy chairs, and Mike brought me a cappuccino, and he sat down in the chair and he said, okay, before we look at any of the cars in the BMW range, will you answer one question for me? I said, what is it? And he said, what exactly is it that you're trying to achieve? Now that was a golden question, because what I told him was that I drive 40,000 miles a year, that I normally carry quite a lot of luggage with me because of the work that I do, that I'm a petrol head, and I've got to have a high performance vehicle that makes me smile every morning when I get up and walk to wherever it's parked. Yeah. If I want to go mad, I've got loads and loads of poke, and if I want to sit on a motorway because I've got 300 miles to do before I get to bed, I want to get out of the car at the other end feeling like I've driven 3 miles, and I want every toy and every technological gizmo inside it that you could ever invent. That was what I want to do. Yeah. And he said, fine, okay, here are the vehicles that I think that will do the job for you. And at the end of it, we ended up with a vehicle. Yeah. Now, I'm going to confess that at no point in that conversation did the word price enter into his vocabulary, and neither did it enter into my mind. Yeah. Because the interesting thing is that there's always a way of paying for something that you want, and that's ticking all those boxes. And the interesting thing in sales is that it would be rude and it would be arrogant to assume that you know whether or not a patient can afford something or not, or whether which banks they're going to rob in order to get what you need. Now, I ended up buying a £57,000 motor car, brand new out of the showroom, but I didn't. What I did was he ticked all my boxes, and he showed me a way I could afford it. Yeah. Because by entering into a finance arrangement, I could fit it within my budget. Yeah. Now, I don't think there's any difference in dentistry. So when somebody walks in this room, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to say, how did you find us? Yeah. Because you need the marketing audit. The second thing you're going to do is to say, before we look inside your mouth, before I introduce you to any nutty professors out there in the building, can you just answer me one simple question? And the question is, what exactly is it that you're trying to achieve? Yeah. If I could wave a realistic magic wand, what would you like us to achieve for you? If you if you were looking for the perfect smile, in fact, if you woke up tomorrow morning with your perfect smile, how would that be different from the smile you've got today? Yeah. If we could make one wish come true about your dental health or your dental appearance, what would that wish be? If I give you this vanity mirror, and if you hold that vanity mirror in front of yourself and look at your own smile at the moment, what marks out of 10 would you give yourself? If 1 was rubbish and 10 was perfect, what marks would you give yourself? Most people will say 7. Yeah. And if it's a 7, then what would we have to do for you to give yourself a 10? So those are the kind of soft fact questions that you answer, that you ask people. And then you can talk about pictures to say, well, here are people that had a mouth that looks a bit like yours that went to a 10, and this is how we did it. You don't have to talk about how we did it dentally.
No.
You only have to say there's a before and after picture, because how we got there is irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you've established that you are competent to take them from a 4 to a 10 or a 7 to a 10, whatever, you've got to ask the golden question. And there are two golden questions. The first question is, what's going on in your personal or your professional life that makes you want to 10?
Yeah.
Is it your daughter's wedding? Is it a 25th wedding anniversary? Is it the fact that you've paid off your mortgage, your kids have gone and it's time for you? Is it the fact that you're one of 2 out of 3 people over the age of 45 that have got divorced, and you've realised that for the first time in 25 years you're going to start dating again? What is it that's the driving factor that's brought you and sat you in that chair? And then when we've had a look at the before and after pictures and all the rest of it, we're going to take you to see one of the clinicians now, where we're going to talk about suitability and options. But can you answer me a question? And the question is, and this is the golden question, if we were able to take you from a 4 to a 10 or a 7 to a 10 over the next 3 months or 3 years, tell me this, what difference would it make to your life?
Yeah.
And then you shut up and listen to what that patient says. And what they'll do is their eyes will go up in the top corner like that, because they're doing visualization, which is what the NLP trainers will tell you. So they all go like that, and they'll say, well, I'd be happier, I'd be more confident at work, I'd be more confident in social gatherings, I'd look fabulous on those wedding, a bleak holiday, a bleak anniversary, a bleak retirement, a bleak whatever pictures, I'd have a greater sense of well-being, blah, 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 blah. So they're going to come out with a load of happy and confident stuff.
Yeah.
And that is the precise moment in time where you say, okay, well, in order to have those wedding photos, in order to be dating again, in order to be on that cruise with confidence, you will be looking at an investment of something in the region of £15,000, give or take 20%, because the dentist will tell us whether it's more or less. Would that be a problem?
Yeah.
And that's your question.
Yeah.
You're looking at an investment of around £15,000, give or take 20%, and the dentist will see which side of that it drops.
Okay.
So about £15,000, give or take. Would that be a problem for you?
Yeah.
Now at that point in time, some of them are going to go, are you smoking something or what? £15,000 for dentistry? You must be out of your mind. I thought I was only going to spend £15, blah, blah, blah. Right? And what's happened there is that your marketing systems have failed you, because you failed to sieve out those people.
Yeah.
But my experience is that the right type of patient are going to say, well, you know what? They're either going to say, yeah, no problem. And my clients tell me all the time that people say, yeah, no problem. And interestingly, it's often the ones that you think are going to have a problem, you know, because there's an old saying, blue suit, white shirt, red tie, mobile phone, Jaguar, skint. So it's the little old lady with the tea cosy on her head that says, no problem, can I pay you cash?
Yeah.
Or it's the scrap metal merchant from Middlesbrough who's got a big gold bangle who says, well, actually, I've got it here now, and he brings a 15 grand wad out. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, if some of them might say, well, you know what, I might need to reposition a few of my assets in order to get there, you know, I might need to take some money out of one of my portfolios, blah, 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 but yeah, that'll be no problem.
Yeah.
So values-based selling is about creating that link between the difference it'll make and the investment to get the difference.
Yeah.
Dentistry is irrelevant.